Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? My name is Lucifer. Yes, indeed. And you're listening to the Apocalyptic Optimath channel. Um, so, well, actually, this isn't Lucifer that's talking. I'm gonna talk as Seth, because the reason why I wanted to talk about the journey that I'm on. I want to talk about. I feel like I don't talk about magic. I haven't talked about magic enough recently, and it's not like nothing is happening. There's some things happening. I'm just not talking about it a lot, and I feel that's unfair. You know, because I do criticize the spiritual sector quite a lot without giving it its dues. But I do give it its dues. But it's also recommended not to do that for some specific characters. Um, Specific characters like people that had a hard life. We don't want your gratitude. Okay, it's disrespectful. It's like you're making fun of me. It's like you're making fun of me. It's like you're saying like I'm too stupid to understand that you deserve the good things that you have in your life or something. So yeah, for some people, doing gratitude is actually not good. It's you're literally cursing yourself. I shit you not. And I trust me, I've tried quite a many times to be sure because I wasn't sure at first. I thought I was just wilding, or maybe somebody was like reversing my gratitudes or something. I was like, like, but at the same time, that don't make sense. How can somebody reverse? Why would anyone? And how? Like, it's not. You're not sending something at someone. You're giving thanks. So sometimes it's not recommended, depending on the person that you are. And I feel like it's an important thing to say. Because there's different types of people in the world. At the end of the day, everybody has their own stories. Everybody has their own life, and sometimes we kind of broadband stuff, right? Especially like, oh, you gotta give thanks, like it's Thanksgiving, so therefore, i.e., everyone give thanks, but maybe there's some people in the world where that is not what they're supposed to do on Thanksgiving. Maybe there's some people in the world that are supposed to do other things on Thanksgiving. So we kind of blanket. Sometimes we make statements, especially when it's tied to tradition, and it's just a blanket statement, right? Oh, you gotta give thanks to the gods and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, you're a dude that does everything that's like that live a hard life, and you're a legit badass, right? And when you're a legit badass, well, you don't have to say thank you when something happens. As a matter of fact, you should do the opposite of saying thank you, and you should be like, give me some more, you know and because that's kind of like it's your affirmation that whatever you're doing is working, right? So, but at the same time, since you're a badass, because I don't think there's no school of magic for badasses, right? There's no school of magic for ultimate warriors. There's no school there for real, and the magic is different for somebody like that. There's little peculiar things. There's small things, not big, but they can be quite exhaustive. Like if you wake up, if you're listening to 1,000 YouTube videos, and all the YouTube videos are like, you have to give thanks, and that when you wake up in the morning, you have to give thanks to the gods for giving you blah 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 blah, whatever, right? And you listen to 1,000 videos, everybody's saying the same thing. You're gonna do the same thing too, right? Because you just listen to 1,000 people saying the same fucking thing, right? So you're gonna end up doing it, not knowing that you're a badass and you shouldn't be thankful because it's disrespectful. Because you kind of, it's kind of as if you're assuming that the gods don't see you, or don't know you, right? So when you have that what's in the Jacob energy, right? That Job Jacob energy, right? I don't even know who the fuck Joseph. I don't know. No, it's not. Joseph is the dad, because there's Job and Jacob, and those are not the same people, by the way. We keep saying that some people keep calling people Jacob. I think they're Job. I think they're talking about Job, because Job and Jacob are not the same. They're two different people. But I don't know which one it is that has, like, you know, all his fucking family gets fucking murdered and shit like that. I don't remember which one it is. But when you're walking around with that kind of energy and you're a legit badass, you know, when you're cursed by Cain, by God himself, you know, because that's what it is, right? You're not cursed by the devil. You're cursed by God. It's God that cursed you. He gave the permission to the devil to curse you, to do all kinds of fucked up shit to you, just to see if you're going to believe in him or not, right? So at the end of the day, you're stuck with, and it's not the first time that God curses somebody in the Bible. There's also Cain. Cain was cursed too, and there was the whole entire city of Sodom and Gomorrah where everybody turned into salt. And then there was the Pharaoh. So God curses people all the fucking time, if you hadn't been paying attention. Like, that's literally all he does. Just curse the shit out of people. Never fixes anything. Never admits to his own fucking issues, to his contradictions. Never admits to his contradiction. Never tries to mend the bridge within his contradiction. Instead, he doubles down on it and he goes forward. If you hadn't noticed, right? And God never fixed anything in the Bible. There's nothing that was fixed. There was no fixing at all. And the only fixing that's gonna happen, if you hadn't been paying attention, is when the apocalypse actually fucking arrives, where allegedly, presumably, by popular demands, apparently he's gonna wipe off everything and everything's gonna start over. So the God of the Bible is a God that never fixes anything. He never gets shit done. He's lazy. He's a lazy God. If he is even a God, because it could just be a spirit. Because at the end of the day, anybody can be powerful, right? It just depends on how you position yourself, right? Just like the spirit of the Bible that people call God positioned himself into that thing. It's just like me when I say that I'm Lucifer. I didn't position myself into that. I was cursed, you know, and I had to become Lucifer. I didn't have a choice. And it was, to me, it feels like it was destiny. It feels like it makes sense to me, you know, to be an avatar. And this is what I want to talk about, because Lucifer told me, I've been asking myself some questions. I've been asking myself some questions about the direction that I'm taking in life. And Lucifer keeps repeating the same thing over and over. He keeps saying, you're an avatar. You're an avatar. You're an avatar. You're an avatar. He keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. So I get it. I understand it. And I do believe that that's right, because I'm basing this with what I've seen in my life and what I've been through in my life. I'm not assuming, as wild and as outlandish as that statement sounds, I did not make that statement. It wasn't out of the clear blue sky, as sometimes I try to make it seem as if, because I'm trying to, you know, tone down the atmosphere, the ambiance here, right? But it wasn't pure coincidence. It wasn't just random luck. It was a calculated risk, because you shouldn't call yourself Lucifer if you're not an avatar of Lucifer, because if you do that, your life is going to be fucked up. You know, like, and that's just facts. I've seen it happen more than once, and it was fucked up, you know, and I'm talking about really bad. like not just the people doing fucking setting you up to go to jail and shit like that. No, I'm talking about like getting hit by cars and all kinds of shit, getting your face punched in, all like physical pain, right? So so that you don't do that again, because at the end of the day, when you're receiving physical pain for just saying that I'm that guy, like it's like saying you're King Vaughn, and then a bunch of people just show up and start beating your ass. You're not gonna say that again. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're not gonna say it again, right? So like I said, it was a calculated risk. Knowing that, being aware of this, was a calculated risk. It was either I'm right about everything that I'm seeing and everything that I'm feeling and how I'm being treated. Either I'm right or either I'm wrong, right? And if I was wrong, it wasn't that bad. I could have just prayed to God, asked Jesus for some help and shit like that, and it would have fixed the problem, more or less, but you just turn around, you just do a 180. Okay, oop, my bad, didn't want to bother you, Mr. Lucifer. I'm just hop out, so and when you're an avatar, when I'm guessing you're an avatar, Lucifer, is because you're like you hold a high ranking, and I guess I've shown you guys multiple times how high my ranking is in the spiritual sector in the past 3 years, and I don't think I'm overstating here, because we did some magic live. There's some people that don't want to admit it. There's some people that want to close their eyes, but at the end of the day, I did some magic live on YouTube. Magic exists. Lucifer exists. Lucifer answered. I don't have, at the end, I'm a Canadian kid that doesn't I don't work a 9 to 5. I don't have a job. So to be like, what I'm trying to say is, to say some shit like Lucifer is gonna make you king, and then the King of England shows up the day after with some, that was not me. That was something else. That was a bigger power than me that reacted to what I said. It's just like when I got arrested last year, and I did that video about Odin, and Thor, and then I had a coat that I have the coat with the big fur on, and then there was the musical track that was playing, boom, 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 I want you in my room, that was not a coincidence, bro. And then, but the thing is, that whole series of events started because I woke up one morning, which I recorded it, and I posted it on YouTube, and it started. I said hello to Hungin and Munir. They were hanging around my window, which are two crows. Every time I see two crows or one crow, when I see one crow, most of the time it's Munir, right? When I see two crows, it's Hungin and Munir, right? So most of the time, every time I see one crow, I'm gonna say hi Munir, right? Because most of the time it is Munir, right? So memory and thought, those are two very important crows, two very important aspects of reality. The two crows, right, which are memory and thought, Hungin and Munir, right? So it started with that, and then a whole series of events started to happen, right, with the Norse mythology gods. So these were answers, but at the end of the day, they're reacting. The universe is reacting to what I'm saying, right? It's the same thing when I talk about Lucifer and how he manages his cult, how he manages his cult, how he manages his believers, right? How he manages his tradition, his company, whatever, right? It's very reactionary. So there is answers, right? And at the end of the day, a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people till today didn't know if Lucifer existed, right? Didn't know if God existed. Now, all those things exist. The only thing is you have to understand that we don't know what those things are. We don't know who these people are. We know what Lucifer is because everybody hates him, right? Everybody wants to pin the tail on the horse, right? Everybody needs something to hate, right? So we already know who Lucifer is. So it's not, you just have to read between the lines, right? If you read between the lines, you can realize what the person's saying. If you realize that somebody is projecting, that you understand that this person is actually saying the contrary of what he actually wants to say, right? So it's not that hard to figure out who Lucifer is, right? It really isn't. It really isn't. And God also is not that hard to figure out. But what's hard in the case of God, it's easy to look at someone in a better light that you spent all your life looking at as bad person. But it's hard to look at someone in a bad light when you've seen that person in a good light your whole entire life. So when it comes to God, even though he kind of tells us who he is most of the time, especially through the stories and especially through what he hates and what he likes, we can tell who God is, whatever God is, right? And you can tell, like, that's not a good person. He's not a good person, right? But you're not gonna realize that because it's a hard thing to wrap your head around, to be like, the person that I used to believe in is actually plain old evil, like, you know, top of the line, number one evil, right? You know, and you would think Lucifer is evil, but Lucifer is necessary evil. He's not evil for the sake of being evil. He's not evil for just for the fuck of it, just because he feels like being evil. No, he's done things. He's been put in a position, and he's done things, and he's been put in a position where he has to be like that. He has to be a monster, because in order to fight a monster, you have to become a monster yourself. So a lot of people look at the physiology, the physical aspect of the dragon as something terrifying and fearful and just terrible and horrific and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, it's actually quite the contrary. It's actually a beautiful manifestation of spirit fighting to be free of bondage, right? And that's what you're seeing. This humanoid horn devil demon thing is not a bad thing. It's just something I had to do in order to be able to confront what was in front of me, the obstacle that was in front of me. Not to say that God is evil, right? Because good and evil is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Because some people don't see certain acts as evil. It's like pedophiles. There's some people that don't think pedophiles are evil. There's some people that don't think that rapists are evil, bro. Like a lot of people don't think, like, especially nowadays. If you guys hadn't noticed, there's a very humongous, huge amount of people that are on the side of these organizations that indulge in the trafficking of children and things of that matter, right? That's evil. But to some people, it's not. The people that are doing it, they don't consider themselves evil. The people that are taking advantage of that situation, they don't see themselves as evil. They don't see those people as evil. They're just like, well, it's a business, it's a thing, whatever. It's just flesh. We're just selling flesh. That's all it is. It's just a thing. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people feel like a lot of people don't matter, right? Which is not true, right? At the end of the day, the reason why somebody would get into trafficking, human trafficking, is because you don't consider people as people. You don't see the importance of people. And I have to admit, a lot of the times, people do tend to kind of make you feel like they're not worth much. I don't know why that is. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's like a defense mechanism or some shit like that. Or there's some people that are that lazy. There's some people that are so lazy they're gonna act like jerks on purpose so that you don't ask them to do shit. You know what I mean? There's some people like that. So when you grow up in a tough neighborhood, in a tough area, and people act like that, your idea of humans is just like, they're just junk that I can use to sell. And that's how some people think. The people that we think are evil, it's not necessarily that they're sitting there thinking, man, I'm gonna do this because it's super evil, and they're like, he. No, they're like, no, I think this human is nothing but a thing that I can use to better my life. So you're just a product. You're just a produce. You're nothing, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, like, there's some women can pop out babies. There's some women that can pop out a lot of babies, but it's a tremendous effort. It's a tremendous effort. There's some pain involved in it. Giving birth to a child has so much pain involved in it that you have to realize. If you can't realize that you're doing something important when you're having a child, that's your business. At the end of the day, you're a grown ass woman, you're a grown ass man, and y'all don't know this shit. It's been fucking 40 years. You didn't learn shit in the past 40 years. Congratulations. I don't know how you did that, but that's fucking incredible. Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, for real, like, if you don't know shit, you're 40 years old, 30 years old, 35, 45, 40, like, and you don't know a goddamn thing. That's fucking amazing. Because I don't know how. It's like you have to literally dodge the information. Because there's so much information. It's like, even watching TV for 5 minutes, you're going to learn something, right? So if you spend all that time without learning shit, I mean, like, that means you never talked to a person. You dodged all that information for that long. Wow. Like, wow. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's insane, bro. And there's people that think like that, bro. There's people that think like that today, bro. That's just who they are, and they're gonna be like that forever. So it's not a thing about being good or a thing about being evil. I was put in a situation. This person, because at the end of the day, Lucifer used to work with God. If we believe all these nonsensical things about angels and stuff like that, like, which is bullshit. Because at the end of the day, Lucifer is God. And there's no such thing as angels. Everything is a demon. Everyone is a demon. All things spiritual are demonic. Everything. There's no such thing as God. There's no such thing as angels. Those are demons too. Whatever these guys proclaim themselves to be, they're demons. There's no such thing as an angel. I don't even know what that word means. I don't even know where that word comes from. It's not even a real word. It's not even a derivative of any word. It's like the closest thing you can find. There's no etymology to the word angel. It doesn't mean shit, right? So, at the end of the day, all of these things are demons. But if we believe what the Bible says, about Satan and the Garden of Eden and all that, Paradise Lost behavior, Lucifer used to work with God. But the thing is, Lucifer started to notice something. At the end of the day, regardless of if you agree with him or not, Satan realized something. And this is very important. And this is an important factor that I feel like a lot of people skip over. Because even in the traditional story of the Bible, Lucifer noticed that he could do better. Lucifer believed that he could do better. There's a reason why that is. He saw something. He felt a certain kind of way. He didn't just wake up one. No one does that. That's not possible. Nobody's like that, where you wake up one day and you just snap and do something. No one's like that. There's a reason why that happened the way that it happened. There was a story. There's a backstory. There's a long story. Whether it's from 5 seconds before the event or 20 years before the event, it doesn't matter. There's a reason why this person acts like this. At the end of the day, nobody just wakes up and does random shit. That's bullshit. And even if people wakes up doing random shit, there's an issue. There's a reason why he's like that. At the end of the fucking day, whether it's medical or historical, right? So for him to be walking around with God, noticing, looking at all of his great works, bullshit, because at the end of the day, these alleged angels also helped them to create the great works. At the end of the day, I'm really starting to wonder, what did God actually do? Mostly nothing. That's what. So, when he was walking around with God, he started to notice that, all of this great works, but he's not stupid. It's like, I did some of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're just sitting there acting all high and mighty and shit. You didn't even build all this shit. I did. Like, like, so it's only normal for somebody that's in a lower position, noticing that the person that he works with ain't that cracked up as, people make it seem to be. And dude decided to rebel. He got jealous of God's great work, even though it has been stated that the angels helped him create these great works. So he did not create these things by himself. And even Lucifer himself created some of these great works himself, as of music, art, philosophy. Most of the things that are cerebral and creative comes from Lucifer. Lucifer is a cerebral and creative persona. God, entity, spirit, whatever you want to call it, demon. So some of these great works, he's the one that was responsible for it. And then the other ones, there was other angels, demons that was responsible for those great works also. So it's normal if you work on a universe and your boss or your dad is taking all the credit and he's not big on anything, just being a fucking complete asshole that, changes his mind every 5 seconds. There's not a lot there. There's not a lot of substance there. And mind you, forgive me for saying, because, I'm pretty sure there might be some kind of link between God and Satan. I don't know what it is. And from the way that God has treated me in my life, I don't have any emotion towards this entity. I don't want to know him. I don't want to know him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be near it. I don't want to know nothing about it. I don't want to hear its name. I don't want to talk about it, nothing. So, but that's me. And I respect my own opinions and I respect Lucifer's opinions. If Lucifer feels that he's still holds some kind of emotional attachment towards this entity. I don't know what it is, and that's if there is any at all, which I doubt that there is severely, so because he sent him to hell. It was God's greatest work was betraying Lucifer, disowning him of his family, rejecting his ideals, and ostracizing him and oppressing him. That was God's greatest work. That was God's greatest work. That's the greatest thing God ever did. The greatest thing God ever did was a lie. The greatest thing God ever did was lying. That was his greatest work. So I don't know what kind of relationship that the astral realm holds with this Sakla. They call it Sakla in Paradise Lost. They call God Sakla, the demiurge. I don't know if and it's quite interesting to me because like I would be, if I was any other god, I would be 1000% offended by this demiurge that tried to. But I guess gods are a little bit guilty of their own arrogance, because I feel like today is the result of God's arrogance. Not arrogance, confidence. Today is a consequence of the God's confidence in humanity, because the gods feel like there's no way, shape, or form that any one of their followers are going to follow this demiurge, and they are right to feel that way. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because it could lead you to complacency. And you don't want to be complacent against a person that's ready to do everything and anything to put you out of commission. But that's my opinion as a human being. That doesn't mean that I'm right, and it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. So I am undertaking this voyage in this dark sector, this dark realm, and it's magnificent. I know that I'm going to have even more power in the near future, and I love it. I love every fucking second of it. And right now he's like preparing me. He's like cradling. He's like grooming me. He's grooming me, man. I'm being groomed. I'm being groomed, bro. So, and I'm very thankful, even though I shouldn't say that, but I'm very thankful for that. And that's what I was talking about, by the way, before we got sidetracked there. Because at the end of the day, there's some people, if you're that kind of person, if you're a person that live a rough life, people wasn't sweet to you, and you've been done wrong most of the time, don't say thank you. When you do a spell and it works, and you do a spell and it works multiple times, don't say thank you. Say you want some more, right? Respectfully, of course, but say you want some more. Don't say thank you, because it's disrespectful. Yeah, so, even I have to come to, because I am a polite person usually. I'm Canadian, so I'm used to saying thank you. I say thank you for any fucking reason, like, so so it's I have to come to terms with that. I have to be used to not say thank you, and to be like full-fledged Conan the Barbarian necromancer, serpent god, naga warlock on your ass. Because that's what I am, and that's who I'm going to be, and that's what I chose to be, and that's what I'm going to be, and that's who I always was, and that's because I'm a zealot. I'm a religious zealot, when I was with God, I'm a zealot. I'm just like that. I'm built that way. Like, like when I was with God, I was just very zealous with God too. So, I'm when I get into something, I become a zealot. Right. So I'm like one of those guys that do sacrifices with hoods on and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm that deep. Like I'm a zealot. Um, I'm the kind of people that Arnold Schwarzenegger kills in movies. I'm in the Conan. I'm the kind of guy Conan kills, right? Like I'm one of those guys that's running around in the temple with a skull under his hand and trying not to get murdered by this brutal, savage, what the fuck, the Arcadian, whatever, barbarian. Uneducated, profane barbarian running after me. And I fucking love it, man. I love it, man. And did I know this about myself before? A little bit, but it's only now that I understand that. Yeah, I'm a zealot. I really am. I'm that kind of guy. Like, so, and yes, I did start to. I mean, I didn't start to notice. It's just I'm doing magic. I'm doing black magic, which I like, even though it's not fun all the time. But I still like it. I'm seeing things. I'm understanding things too. I'm not really into Qliphoth magic, but there is Qliphothian creatures in the vastness of the darkness of the deepest recesses of space. No pun intended, no offense meant, but it's true. Especially when you're talking about the astral realm and stuff like that. There are these fucking creatures of immense power, just like that's probably why people don't think what H.P. Lovecraft was saying was fictional, because these things are there. They are there. They're there right now, and they have huge, vast, immense power, unimaginable, like like just mind blowing shit, and I fucking love it. And so, and these things, they bring me towards zealitude, because I want to know more. I want to see more. I want to know more. So, and it makes me a true believer too. And I can't be. I'm a zealot, but at the same time, I'm the alpha. But it's okay. And it's fine. And all you have to do is tell me you're over whooping, you're overdoing it. Relax. Because it's true. I do. Like, in my head, I live in the fucking the second century before Christ. You know what I mean? Like barbarian, Conan barbarian shit. I'm the Naga necromancer, bro. Like living in the mountains somewhere. With a bunch of with a lady. With a hostage lady, a scantily clad lady in the, So no, I don't kidnap women. And neither do Satanists, by the way. That's in the book of that's in the Satanic Bible. There is nowhere in the Satanic Bible that encourages the kidnapping of women for any sort of sacrifice. Zero. Like, so a lot of these things are, I mean, an outsider could look at me, could look at us, could look at what we're doing, could look at a ziggurat and be like, look at that ziggurat, bro. You gonna tell me that's not fucking demonic? It is, but you don't know enough about what demonic is to be able to have to pass any kind of judgment, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you're looking at, and you haven't learned what it is that you're looking at. You know, because yes, at the end of the day, I'm walking around with hooves and horns, and and I got fangs and stuff, and black hoods and stuff, and then all the shit that they say in movies seems to be true. Seems to be, but it's not that easy. Like I said, this is one of my mistakes. I did a video 2 years ago, and I said, demonology is easy. But I said that coming from Enochian magic. If you ever practice Enochian magic, that shit is fucked up. Enochian magic is fucking crazy. I had to go to let me tell you something. Enochian magic, I had to go to the library, print out, to do a spell, not a curse, to do a spell. I had to print out some pages. I had to redo some things by hand. I had to go print some pages just for one spell. A small, not even a big spell, just a small spell. I kind of liked it too. I thought it was dope too, so I was kind of into it. Like I say, I'm a zealot, but I still noticed that I knew this shit was gonna be hard. And not only that, but you need like equipment that you can't find anywhere. Like the Enochian magic is almost impossible. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. You're not. It's not practical. It's not something. There's a lot of gold involved in it. There's a lot of gold. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that. You can't just. Oh, I feel like practicing Enochian magic. No. And even if you do, your spells are not going to be completely fulfilled because you don't have the required tools in order to accomplish the ritual, right? So even if you do a ritual, Enochian ritual, and it does work, it's not gonna work at 100% efficiency, right? So Enochian magic is pretty fucking hard, right? And then you think about like fucking voodoo and shit, where all the spirits are fucking nuts, out their fucking mind, and then you meet fucking Lucifer, that's for a gentleman, a respectable gentleman, that's a very educated and well spoken. You're kind of like, wow. It blows your fucking mind away. You're kind of like, that's what I meant when I said it's easy compared to the two others. Because it's not that I really believe that it's easy. I just know that if you get into it, you're gonna stay with it. And you're not going to go back to other things because it is what it is. Because it does everything that the other ones do, but a lot better and a lot quicker. Yes, I know. The path of evil is always the quickest, but it burns out the fastest. Yeah and no. I still believe, because I know at the end of the day, regardless of what happened to me recently, I had a part in it. It takes two to tango. I had a part in it, and if I had played my part better, I probably would be in a better situation right now. So at the end of the day, I'm saying it's my fault, right? I don't believe that it's my fault completely, but somewhere in me, I think that's how I think, right? That's the reason why I'm not heading over the hills and I'm like, oh, the devil and the blah 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 blah. No. I know what happened. I understand why it happened. It is what it is. I believe I was set up. I do believe maybe I could have managed, maybe, and that's a maybe. That's just guilt. That's just guilt making me feel bad, because my ex-girlfriend was fucking banging. She was like a 25 out of 10. So, that shit sucks. So, it is what it is, So, and she wasn't ready to learn. She knew about magic too. She did magic too, but I guess she just didn't want to become a zealot like me, because I was trying to make her into a zealot too, because that's what I needed. I needed how do you say, not a disciple, an acolyte. Yeah, I wanted her to become my acolyte, not really my disciple. you know, because I already knew she wasn't that much into it. And you know, if you want to be a disciple, it's because you want to learn everything that the guy knows. So, but I did want her to be my acolyte, so that means I wanted her to assist me while I was doing my ritual, which she mostly kind of did, more or less ish, you know. Like I said, I don't want to blame her. I don't want to pick on her or blame her for anything shit like that, bro. It's just, you know, I don't want to look bad either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying this on YouTube and shit, and you know, I'm not gonna put all the blame on me, bro. I'm not gonna put all the blame on her, but I'm not putting all the blame on me. That's for motherfucking sure. You know what I mean? Let's best believe that. You know what I mean? You know, so it is what it is. So, you know, so yeah, man. Let me just stop the video right here. I think that's enough. We had our fun, and we're gonna keep having fun in the near future. So, as I always say, have a good one. Subscribe to my channel. I've noticed a couple people unsubscribe. I guess they don't like my business acumen, but I'm gonna keep throwing that in your face because you gotta get into some motherfucking business. And if you don't get into some motherfucking business, if you don't pick yourself up, if you don't get your shit together, you're gonna live in depression for the rest of your fucking life. The best way to get out of depression is by doing something that makes you feel good. That's the number one way of getting out of depression. It's the number one way of getting out of depression. If you don't do something to make you feel good, you're not gonna get out of depression. And not only that, if you spend your life not doing things that you want to do, you're also going to be in the depression. So I don't know what you want me to say, y'all people. A lot of you people think like there's like this secret recipe where you don't have to. No, bro, your brain works only one way, and your brain needs to eat, and you gotta satisfy your needs. You gotta satisfy your needs. But the thing is, the TV don't tell you that doing concrete things and things that are of valuable concrete things. People don't tell you that that's important to your mental balance. And when you don't do concrete valuable things for a long enough period, that your confidence is gonna drop. You're gonna be less sexually active. You're probably gonna end up being impotent. Your dick is going to be limp. Yeah, all that shit, because you don't want to do nothing, and that's not good. That's not good. Doing nothing isn't good, bro. It's a sin. It's laziness is a sin, bro. And laziness is a sin. I ain't gonna lie. Laziness actually is a sin. That's the only I feel like laziness is the only sin that the Bible speak of that I can actually agree with. That shit's gonna kill you, man. That's not a joke. It's literally going to kill you. And there's a lot of people, they think like, oh, if they just talk to somebody, everything is gonna feel. No, it's not gonna change anything. Because when you're depressed, I've dealt with depressed people. I deal with depressed people all the time. There's not a lot of people that are not depressed. The most people on the planet are depressed. Most people, at least 80% of the Earth's population is depressed. And when you talk to somebody that's depressed, there ain't shit you can tell him. If he wants to be depressed, he's gonna stay depressed. There's nothing you can tell that dude that's going to make his day better or that's gonna put a smile on his face. If he feels like being depressed, he's gonna stay depressed forever. There's nothing you can say. So that person needs people like us, me and you, to tell him to get the fuck out the bed, do something that you like to do. Don't do something just because it makes money, but doing money isn't a bad idea either, but do something that'll eventually get you some money. But for right now, at least get started on the project so you can feel something when you get out in the morning, so you can be excited to get up in the morning, so you can feel like there's a reason for your existence when you get up. Because all those things, when you do the thing that you know that you're supposed to do and you're good at doing, because you're supposed to be doing it, because that's you, and you're denying. The reason why you're depressed is because you're denying yourself of who you are to yourself, and that's why you keep being depressed, and that's why you don't feel like doing shit, and that's why you walking around lazy as fuck, not wanting to do a goddamn thing, always burning up like a fucking vampire every time somebody talks about fucking money and shit like that, bro. You're doing that shit to yourself, my nigga. And I don't give a shit, but I think that's, like I said, I'm going to keep saying that shit because I'm not going to be the one that's going to encourage you to be like, hey, nah, wrong channel. And that's why y'all unsubscribe to my channel, because I ain't playing with y'all. And that's good. Unsubscribe, nigga. The fuck out of here. See if I give a shit about you, nigga. Like, give a shit about yourself, and then I'm gonna give a shit about you. But start giving a shit about yourself first, and then come back. So anyways, with that said, bro, like I said, I'm gonna keep hitting you upside the head with some entrepreneurial advice and some motivation for your ass, and some demonic infernal motivation for your ass. And I hope to see you here on my next video. Have a good one, man. Peace out. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one. See you guys later.